Hello, rant one here. Took me a while to get this video out. A lot of interruptions. A lot of interruptions not to get this one out. But yet, if you fail, try again. And what you're looking at here is Brahma, a Hindu deity from South India. And he is comparison to your biblical Abraham. They have the same similarities and characteristics. If you don't believe me, the information's going to be right in front of you. I try to warn you niggabrews that the book that you have is all a spell. Not just the first part or the second part, the whole shit. That's the point of me coming out and saying this and saying that. And you know what? It's all good. I'm doing this for the love of it, and I love it. I love fighting the truth. Brahma and Abraham. See, the spelling is the same. Brahma, yes. The spelling. Very good, nicely detailed picture. So we'll go in. Brahma is the creator god in Trimerit in Hinduism. He has 4 faces looking in 4 directions. Brahma is also known as Samvyambal, self-born, Visigiza, Lord of Speech, and the creator of the 4 heavens, one from each of his mouths. Brahma is identified with the Vedic god Prajapati, and as well as linked with Karma and Hiranyagarbha, the cosmic egg. He is more primarily mentioned in the post-Vedic Hindu epics and mythologies in the Puranas and epics. He is conflated with Purusha. Brahma, along with Vishnu and Shiva, is part of the Hindu trinity. However, ancient Hindu texts mention other trinities of gods and goddesses which not include Brahma. While Brahma is often credited as the creator of the universe, and various beings in several Puranas describe him as being born from a lotus emerging from a navel of God Vishnu. Other Puranas suggest that he is born from Shiva as aspects, and he is a supreme god in diverse versions of Hindu mythology. Brahma, along with all deities, is sometimes viewed as a form sangha of otherwise formless Naraga Brahma, an ultimate metaphysical reality of cosmic soul and Advaita philosophy. Brahma does not enjoy popular worship in present Hinduism, lesser important than other members of Trimurti, Vishnu, and Shiva. Brahma is revered in ancient texts and yet worshipped as primary deity in India. Very few temples dedicate him exist in India, most famous being Brahma Temple, Pushnakar, and Rajasthan. Brahma temples are found outside India, such as Thailand, Urban China, and Bangkok. So, Brahma is facing in all 4 directions. Kind of like the Most High told Abraham to first face all 4 directions. More information, Brahma. Now, this next article, Brahma and Abraham, Divine Covenant of Common Origin, is from Rainbow Warrior. It's an anonymous upload, but still, his facts are pretty good. This research will confirm Abraham, Muslim and Judeo-Christian faiths, was influenced by the Vedic understanding of Brahma, the creator, supreme soul of universe, sacred knowledge of high priests, and vice versa. Abraham was a contemporary of the Vedic culture. Perhaps he was even a recent ancestor of elder influence, and Abraham may have been modeling his life after a spirituality of this era of history broadly influenced by the wisdom of East. Likewise, the Vedic authors may have been aware that Abraham is a primary model of their own faith, and that one who has followed their spirituality in manner of saint. The purpose of drawing out this relationship between Brahma and Abraham is not to make a new claim of origin of certain religious beliefs. The research will offer Hindu a saintly example of Abraham and Vedic principles of Brahma, Muslim, Judy, Christian believers in understanding a spiritual background, inner prayer life of Abraham through his contemporary reflection of Vedic texts and commentaries. The reader from any background will come to gain insight in spiritual history of the world of how reformers, saints, prophets always looked out for the poor in their effort to relate with the divine. So it's saying that the similarities between Brahma and Abraham shouldn't change your views on Abraham at all, but it should change your views drastically. You have to use your imagination here. You knew the Nephilim's real. You just hate them because it told you to hate. Well, it's told you to hate yourself. Basically, that's what it's telling you. So you knew this already. So if you use your imagination, Abraham or Brahma is divine. The Hindus know him as a divine entity and is revered. And he's part of the bloodline, as you would say, right? So they recognize who he is somewhere else, If you're nice, if you're known on the street for more than one thing, in other districts and neighborhoods, people have different names for you. And that's not even going outside the country. Yet alone, this man has roots in India. And he's a Chaldean nonetheless. Have you ever noticed that Abraham and his wife Sarah of the monotheistic Judeo-Christian and Muslim religions are nearly identical, the same to Brahma and his wife Saraswati of Hindu religion? So right off the back, Brahma and his wife have the same name as Abraham and his wife Sarah. And this is from Steve Rosen, a writer. The similarities between Abraham and Brahma have not gone unnoticed. Abraham is said to be the father of the Jews, and Brahma, as the first created being, is often seen as a father of mankind. Abraham is derived from two Semitic words, Ab, meaning father, and Raham, meaning of exalted. We might also note that the name Brahma consorts Sarvita seems to be resonated with that of Abraham's wife Sarah, each one identified as wife and sister, just like Abraham, you're my sister. In other texts, such as the Book of Jubilees or whatnot, they state that he's a sister. Like it's confirmed, but go ahead. Also in India, Sarvita revere include Chibarati, known as the Gagar. Known as Gagar. Sounds familiar. In Genesis 16, verse 1, now Sarah, Abraham's wife, has borne him no children. She had an Egyptian maid whose name was Hagar. So Sarah and Abraham, now behold, the Lord has prevented me from bearing children. Please go to my maid, perhaps I will obtain children through her. Kind of the same there. According to Jewish tradition, Hagar was Sarah's maidservant. Both Brahmins and Jews in themselves are chosen people of God, and the Hebrews began their sojourn through history as the king of priests. And Brahma is also known as community of priests. And Abraham's father, Terah, was known as a priest. Yes. And Flavius Josephus, he quotes Aristotle as saying, Jews are derived from the Indian philosophers known as the Kundalini. Claudius of Soli was a student of Aristotle's school. In his book Du Samo, he elaborates on the story of how Aristotle discovered this information, but basic concept remained the same. Hegel also claims that Ur of Chaldees, home of Abraham mentioned in the Bible, is actually Ur of Chaldees. Chaldeans he continued actually called Devo and holy calls and Brahmitical east of India. And the calls today considered to be a Tranchenic tradition. He writes that Abraham was expelled or left from India and set on Goshen in Egypt. Finally, he states Abraham historians contend that Brahma and Abraham, their ancestors, are the same person. You hear that? The same person. The same person. They're the same person. This book that you're depending on needs to get re-examined, and you need to use your imagination and everything and think fucking powers and shit. Just about all these people are Nephilim. That's what they're saying. Oh, you're staying straight up. Yes, see, they're straight up. These Indians are not lying. He looked different from everybody else too. They didn't say that. Yes. And if you look on the map, you can see where ancient Chaldea was. It was right above Saudi Arabia, right under Turkey, which is known as Asia Minor. And the Chaldeans are right under where the Caucasus Mountain is. Right under there. Keep that in mind. You see, I was looking at a fellow YouTuber author's page, and I'm just trying to find some truth, and trying my best to be scholarly or whatnot. So he says something interesting, like the whole Anunnaki is white people, that's white people, and they're all monsters and whatnot. And I had a question saying that one of the characters of the Anunnaki, one of the main characters' daughters is Isis. So I had to say, so is Isis not a melanated person, a black woman or whatnot? But I didn't get an answer, of course. So it's no big deal. I just baked them up, but I just wanted to know what's what and who's who. Because they're all white and all vicious vampire eating blood sucking. I don't know. I want to know what the hell Isis, who was AKA Inna, what was she doing in Egypt at the time, and what was she looking like, and what type of people was she fucking with. But it's all good. But from his videos, I name no names. I don't kiss and tell. It's not a big deal. That's why I learned about this Chaldean. And something's suspect about Abraham. And he said that the Chaldeans are related to the Indians of South India, and also white people. They're a mixture of Indians of the South and white people, and that's where they reside. And that's where Abraham is. A mixture of them. That's the point. It can get wider than this. So we have to see. So in this Quora article by another anonymous person, but the information was stone correct and double checked, are Dravidian, South Indians, Caucasian, Negroids, Australians, or Mongoloids. Excuse me. And you can see from the information, just a little note, Dravidian is no longer a denote or race, but instead considered a linguistic group and only used in relation to languages. Now, there are four main radical groups in the world: Caucasoid, Negroid, Mongoloid, Australoid. And they are each unique and distinct and classified according to genetics, phenotypes, skull structure. Many mistakenly assume, and in earlier ages it was thought that Australoid and Negroid are the same, but not true. Now it's thoroughly disproven scientifically. Australoids are a unique group according to genetic phenotypes and skull structures who completely different from Negroids. In fact, Caucasians are actually closer to Negroids genetically than Australoids or Negroids. According to theorists, Caucasoids came from Negroids, Mongoloids came from Australoids. Australoids evolved in the Asians, Negroid Africans, Negroids into Africans. Negroids and Australians are the older and original race roots. Yes, no shit. Now, each of these have subgroups. Caucasians have subgroups of Slavic, Semitic, Aryan. Negro has Bantu and Kosoin. Mongoloid subgroups are Tibetan, Maori, Eskimo. Australian subgroups are Japanese, Anu, Australian and Aboriginals, Pacific Islanders such as Macaronese and Melanesian. Now, Indians are a diverse mixture. Linguistics and genetic studies have demonstrated that almost all groups of Indian subcontinent today descended from a mixture of two highly divergent populations. Ancestral North Indians related to Caucasoids can be Central Asians, Semitics, and Slavics, and ancestral South Indians who are not descended from populations outside the Indian subcontinent who wholly from within the subcontinent. In terms of race classifications, people generally referred as ancestral South Indians in genetic terms can be referred as Dravidoid hybrids, to make things simpler here in this. So the South people are hybrids or more Dravidian than the people up north, India. And that's what you get. That's basically, they're saying, a mix with Caucasoids and Negroids. That's basically what Abraham is. A mix of them. But these are some of the characteristics that Brahma and Abraham share. And you can see the information clearly, and you can look it up. Brahma is the father of all and creator of the universe, with 14 constellations on the right side of the Milky Way. Celestial cow, dolphin, and 14 on the left were all gods, celestial beings, enlightened ones out of this body. His son, Danaskis, was born from the right thumb. Brahma and Saravati dwelt 100 years together and bore their first son. Abraham, as a father of many nations, Genesis 17:5, Abraham's descendant numbers are in the stars of the sky. 14 generations from Abraham to King David, 14 from David to Babylonian exile, 14 Babylonian to Jesus. And grandson of Abraham is called Benjamin. Basically the same thing. And he has more comparisons. Brahma's son or grandson, Daska, is killed on an offering sacrifice before all the gods, and the pleading of his father, Bati, born from Brahma's body. Daska is resurrected with the head of Ram. Nikatas is offered by his father, Vegas Ravas, Gautama, who was offering gifts to Deniska to Yama, underworld god of death. Brahma's son, Mandu offspring, witness a sacrifice. Abraham almost offers his son Isaac, who is saved by the sacrificial ram, making Abraham a chief example of selflessness and sacrifice. Basically, they cupcaked it for your ass.